Hey YouTube, y'all usually don't see this. This is usually like a Twitch thing, this little face cam right here. But clean myself up. I got a wedding soon. It's coming up. Not this month, but like at the beginning of September. So I gotta deal with that. So I've been cleaning up and buying like fancy clothes and shit. But yeah, so fuck it. I figured I cleaned myself up. I might as well turn on my face cam for shit. So what this video is about, we're getting like a few weeks. Like I think we're on like about to hit the end of week 2 soon. So like most people would kind of get like the core mechanics, shatterer, charge, shit like that, like what the content is, all the like basics. I'll probably make more videos on different basics I didn't cover, like settings and like UI mechanics and shit. But most people get like the general gist of everything about the game. So this video is going to be about is I'm going to go through each character, so it might be a little long. I'm going to go through each character and I'm just gonna tell you where they're good at. Cause I'm not gonna make a tier list or anything. Like I genuinely believe every character has something that they're like the best at. You know what I mean? And I do appreciate how the game balanced it this way. Uh, and like obviously, and like I'll try to talk about some like hidden tricks you can do with some characters. I'm not gonna show them. A lot of work. If you want to see like the hidden mechanics, you'll have to look up like a one trick using the characters. Like I know Huma. I think of her as like a character from a fighting game. Like I know she has a lot of combos. Like you can stun lock someone in PvP with Huma. I think it's pretty easy, but I don't play her again. And like you have to like use shields to get stacks into axe form. Like Huma's one of those like high skill characters, but she's definitely good. So, like, I'm not even going to try to tell you how to combo with her, because I don't know. I know there's plenty of, like, one-trick videos with Huma, and a lot of, like, Huma videos online, so you just have to go there. But okay, so that was Huma out of the way. That was just an example, but that's pretty much what the rest of the video is going to be like. So, starting from the top, from everything I've built down. So you'll notice, first of all, that I built multiple characters, and I talked about this in other videos. But the first ones I built were Meryl, Subasa, and Coco. Those were the first SSRs I got. I got Meryl from my SSR selector, and the other two I pulled, and then I have stars from the dupe shops, because I've pretty much gotten every free-to-play pool you can get. So, like, I've racked up enough to do all this. And, like, I'm trying to keep free-to-plays, like, in mind, but do keep in mind, I am not free-to-play. I am a dolphin. Install the black crystals. I'm not pulling for Nemesis. I'm waiting for I'm going all Frost, so I'm waiting for more Frost characters that come out later. Especially Frost Resonance. That's when I'm going to start popping off and wailing. But, like, genuinely, farming more mats to upgrade more weapons instead of joint operations, so you have specific weapons that are good for specific shit that you can use. Because I know I talked about this so many times, and genuinely I probably can't talk about this enough. And I didn't make a video yesterday, or I think I did one the day before, but I had it pre-recorded, so I had it ready. But I spent the past 2 days, 17-hour streams, like, just like bygone. I started this week at floor like 120, I think, 110. And I ended the week. The week just reset. And we just got the loot out. I got to 170. I spent so much time. There was one boss, I know. It was Lucia. On like floor like 160, I think. It took me 5 hours of dying over and over before I finally beat her. Until like the perfect dodge timings were like muscle memory at that point. Like I did it so many times, and like I know this isn't what the video is about, but again, don't be afraid to build multiple weapons. I know like a lot of you are scared to use mats and stuff, and it takes time to get mats, but like this game, there's no like one. Okay, besides Nemesis. Nemesis is like pretty good at everything, but she's not like a special. Like, she doesn't have something she does better than anyone. She just does everything. But besides her, everyone is good at one thing, typically. So you're gonna end up needing multiple teams, especially later on when content gets harder. Um, so starting from the top, sure, I'll keep getting distracted. So we'll go through her skills. She has Shatter and Charge. She low-key, she is really fucking strong in Bygone, and when you're killing like a lot of mobs. That is where Shiro shines. It's just a lot of mobs. Because she has good Shatter, like pretty decent, like not amazing, but pretty good Shatter. And her Charge is not the worst. Could be better. But the thing about charging, and one thing to keep in mind, is when you're hitting multiple units, it charges faster. So like her and Samir in Bygone, you use her skill, put the cage down where you dash attack, and it keeps bouncing the dash attack chakrams all over the place. Like if you want to see that, you can just go to my Shiro apology video. Uh, but yeah, you just use her skill, dash attack as many times as you can, build up like a fucking shit ton of fucking chakrams everywhere, and you're just gonna be doing so many hits and hitting so many mobs with all that damage. It's gonna charge up. Like I usually get like 1.5 charges off that alone, and that's not like that's usually without me running my pepper set, which gives you more charge per hit. And then her discharge. Honestly, I hate it. Like that, this discharge is why like people rate her so low. As her discharge just sucks ass. I'll be real. Stun is cool. It's not long enough of a stun to not do that much damage. You know what I mean? Like this little of damage is not worth 1 second of stuns. But her skill, the Chakram domain, is honestly strong enough to cover up for her weak discharge. So she is very good in Bygone, and like PvE and AoE. Tsubasa. Tsubasa is one of, in my opinion, one of the highest skill cap characters or weapons in this game. Specifically, if you just have C1. C1 without C. Let me turn down this music. C1 without C3 is so hard to maintain stacked. For the simple fact that it's 15 seconds. But 15 seconds isn't actually that long. And if you don't have C3, your dodge attack just shoots one arrow, so it stacks one shot at a time. So that means to get full stacks at C1, you have to use all of your dashes to stack it up to full. And you won't have dodges to do like perfect dodges and shit. So yes, it's a 15% damage buff, but you don't get perfect dodges. And if you don't know this, and when you perfect dodge someone, you actually get more damage. I'd have to find like the help menu where it tells you how much it is. Might comment it, might not, to be honest. I haven't slept in a while, so I'll probably forget. You can definitely find it somewhere. So yeah, so C3, she starts getting more charge attacks. So when you have C3, she just has a dodge attack once and is fully stacked, and then you can switch off if you want to do big burst moves. So like C3 is a lot easier to use. C5 kind of blows. You just get more slows. No one needs slows. C6, you just get more stacks, so just more damage. So honestly, with Tsubasa, I don't care for her constellations that much. Like other characters, their constellations like make or break them, like Crow. Tsubasa, people might argue with me about this, and that's fine. This is my opinion. I wouldn't even bother getting more stars on Tsubasa. Like I got more stars on Tsubasa. I got her to C3, and I genuinely don't feel the power spike at all. So if you have dupe buying from shop, I would recommend not doing it. Tsubasa is fine as she is. She doesn't need constellations, and she is a solo target DPS. So she charges and does very good auto attacks, like dodge attacks, damage to single target. Her skill is very useful. As the cooldown is very short. It's only 12 seconds. If you're like very close, all three arrows will hit at the same time, so it'll rack up a lot of damage. So like with C3, you go shotgun mode and you dodge attack in their face and you'll do a lot more damage. Her discharge, not bad. Not great, but not bad. It doesn't actually hit that hard, and it's kind of... The damage definitely feels lackluster on the discharge, in my opinion. Uh, but yeah, single target. I use her in PvP and for world bosses. Okay, King. He is the best AoE shatterer. What I mean by that, like think Bygone. A lot of mobs, he will one tap a bunch of mob shields. When it comes to bossing and like single target, he can still do it, but he's not good as his counterpart Meryl. Meryl is strong single target and can do AoE, but her AoE is not as strong as King, if that makes sense. So for shattering, like you have other options for shatterers, and we'll get to that. But King is more the best AoE shatterer. Meryl is the best single target shatterer. Now King, how do you use King? So on all your shatterers pretty much, C1 is a huge damage buff. That shatter is so nice. C2 doesn't matter. C3 is a 30% damage buff. That's fat. C5 is nice. C6 is nice. King is just a good unit overall. He will help you in Bygone. And if you haven't watched my other videos, Bygone is the most important content in the game. Some simple tricks. He's pretty easy to use. His skill, you just swipe, does a big damage, will melt a shield. His scythe, his discharge, you slam, it does big damage, and slice start popping up. It'll spawn 3 scythes, typically. I don't know if that changes at all. It might change, I don't know. Summon 3 scythes, right? Typically, like in Bygone, for example, you want to pull the mobs to where they're standing on each other, and then you discharge. So they're all 3 are getting hit by all 3 scythes, right? And if you stack it up and his scythes are going out of the ground, and you have your discharge fully charged, you can have more than 3 scythes out if you keep discharging with him. They don't last that long, though. Another thing to keep in mind, the first attack, I don't know why it does this. I noticed it does it. I don't know where it says it. But I've noticed the first attack in his basic attack combo will teleport him to the enemy. So I use this a lot in Bygone when like the boss, like Lucia, would do her spin move and run away from me. And this Bygone's time, so I didn't have the time to chase her. I would pull out King and auto attack real quick to instantly teleport to him. Meryl, so I talked about where she's good. Single targets with bosses. She's the queen of PvP. Auto attack, I usually never auto attack with her, but I will use her hold attack, which is the whirlwind. Spin to win, baby. You cannot get stunned while spin to winning. Dodge attacks, kind of trash, don't bother with it. Slice and dice, it aims where your screen is looking, and you are CC immune. Huge damage. Usually, what I do with Meryl is I hit him with her ult or discharge. I spin to win to break their shield. As soon as their shield is broken, that's when I usually start using the slice and dice and just kill them. Discharge is probably one of the most buggy moves in this game. You slam, big damage. Supposed to not let them jump. Sometimes it doesn't let them, sometimes it does let them. You summon a wall, like a Jarvan ult from League. If it's a big, I really recommend not using this discharge in Bygone if they're like the big fat mobs. Because what that'll do is that'll lift them up. It's weird. Or like in PvP, if you ult and the wall lands straight on them, you can bug a player to where they can't move. Like this is the one of the most buggy discharges, and you'll have to use it a couple times to figure out where the like bugs and the kinks are in the shield and like when to use it to just deal with the randomness and the bullshit. Coco, the best healer. She is a pure healer, and she can charge and she can kind of do damage, but she is a pure healer. That is what she's meant to do. Her C1 lets it to where when you dodge with the weapon out, you'll summon a bee. If you switch weapons, I'm pretty sure it stays. I haven't seen it leave. And it also gives weapon charge when you dodge too. That is a good thing to keep in mind. The rest just pretty much gives you more healing on everything. So, but C1's a big one, just so that, like your dodge effects, you get another instance of healing. Her auto attacks or whatever. One thing to keep in mind is this right here, focus assault. After the third normal attack, you can hold your normal attack button. So for me, left click, and she'll do this like weird like lift up move. And in PvP, like it's a lift up. What it'll do is it'll grab them and lift people up out of the air and then slam them. So that is a stun. So remember after your third normal attack, you can hold trigger. That is a very strong move. People spam in PvP. It is very broken. Her dodge is kind of whatever. No one really cares about it until C1. C1 is where dodge starts popping off. Skill. You can pop this and swap off this weapon. That is outstanding. So what this means is if I'm playing tank like Huma Meryl, I would bring Coco as my third. Just in case your healer sucks. You can use Coco heals and just swap off to just heal yourself. Healing on this game is based off your attack, which a lot of you probably realize that already. And this skill, it follows you, so it's also very nice. And I'm pretty sure I just said this, but in case that wasn't clear, this skill follows you when you use it. The discharge does not follow you. Discharge. You put down a zone, heals, removes debuffs from allies. Pretty simple. The AoE it heals is kind of small. But yeah, she is just a pure healer down to her bones, and she has a CC on her hold attack every 3 auto attacks. So very nice healer, very strong. If you're playing healer, she's definitely one you want. Now, Samir. Samir. Her and Shiro play very similar roles in that they are both. I know Shiro says shatter, but you more play Shiro as a main DPS. Weird. You don't have to play as a main DPS, keep in mind. You can mix and match as much as you want. But her and Samir kind of have the same play style / play the same. So I'm gonna go one step at a time. So through her constellations, basically, if you're going her, and I'll say this for later, and I'll probably repeat it, her and Crow are the only characters you want to go crit on. For the simple fact that all their constellations give bonuses for crit. That being said, she can crit very often because she's a multi-hit weapon. So what that means is she hits a lot of times, but doesn't do as much damage per hit. But she'll fucking like machine gun unload. So where she's strong at is like PvE, like Bygone. She's very strong in Bygone, stuff like that, like AoE damage. So like her auto attack chain, she just was bang 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 bang, like just shoots around. Her hold, she just keeps shooting. I don't think it costs stamina. I don't like her hold. It's not the most accurate thing in the world. One of my favorite moves that she has is when you're in the air and you do an air attack. She will start spinning and she will stay where she's positioned in the air. And you can keep doing that until you run out of stamina. One trick you can do is you jump in the air, right? You spin attack. After the first one's over, you can double jump and spin attack. And that should help you not get hit by like mobs and shit. And it should help you hit more units. Because your bullets, instead of just like shotgunning one dude, it's more like spread out, if that makes sense. Like if you're down here, it's hitting like this. But if you hit up here, the cone's like this. If that makes sense. Dodge is kind of whatever. It's a cool animation, but it doesn't really have anything special to it. Per skill, you shoot burst damage, and then it'll stay there and keep doing damage, if that makes sense. It's kind of like a dome, and it's just like keeps shocking them. Discharge the same thing as her skill, just a lot better and more damage. So skill, good. Discharge, good. Kit, overall, good. My only gripe about her is that on your normal attacks, at one point in the chain, it makes you go into the air. I personally don't like fighting in the air, hence why I don't use her. But she's a very strong unit. Huma, I already talked about first, but she's just good. She's not the best, but she's a tank, a fire tank. So that means for fire, I covered this in a separate video, but when you use Huma to charge another weapon, when their other weapon's fully charged, the next auto will apply grievous wounds, so they won't heal. Hence why people like to use her in PvP. She has a lot of combos. You have to look it up on a different video. She is very strong in PvP and Bygone. Not the best, however, very strong and easily usable. Her skills, I'll be honest, I don't know how to use her. I don't even want to talk about this because I would prefer if you go look up someone else who knows how to use Huma. I don't want to give you wrong info about Huma. Just because I don't use her doesn't mean she's not a good like character. She's very strong. However, I don't know how to use her. Alright, Crow. He's a whale's best friend. So basically, Crow does insane amounts of damage the more constellations you give him. At C6, if all the characters are C6, he is easily the strongest weapon for the simple fact that he just auto crits. I don't know too much about all of his combos and what his skills do because I've never pulled a Crow on any account. I don't know how to use them. I just know and I've heard there's a jetpack trick on him and his plunge attack is very good. So what people will do is they'll jetpack up and then plunge. Jetpack up, plunge, and they'll just spam it. Like a weird like triangle geometric shape. But the more constellations you have on Crow, the stronger. Zero I get asked about a lot. And I honestly have never tried him. So I can't say too much. A couple of things about his kit I do know. And I'm sure like I'm gonna treat Zero like Huma. You should definitely look up someone else to figure out how to play him and how to make him work. Because I don't use him. However, I do know there's a couple tricks. So one thing to note. He does not actually heal yet. Until he's C1. On C1, he heals on his auto attacks. Without C1, what his skill and discharge do is they give you and your team a giant shield. So before C1, he's just a shielder. So, and a very useful shielder. His shield ratios are actually pretty crazy, I think. Yeah, 800% of Zero's attack to your whole team. So Zero, in my opinion, is more meant for like party play, if that makes sense. Because then like his value really shines whenever your whole team. 4 times 800 is a lot more than 800 for yourself. If that makes sense. One other thing to know, I do know his dodge is special. So whenever he dodges and you don't have max cubes, so if you have less than 5 cubes, each successful dodge has a 40% chance to restore 1 dodge attempt. I don't know why Zero has this, but I do know this is a thing. He has a chance to just keep dodging and keep dodging. It's pretty nuts, actually. Besides that, I don't really know anything else about him. You would have to look up someone else's video, like a one trick to teach you like ways to like AFK farm. I know you can AFK farm on him. I don't know how. Don't use him, but AFK farming on Zero is definitely a thing. For the record, he's a healer and he has okay charge. He's pretty good charge. My bad. Just not too much damage. Just simple fact that his skill and discharge doesn't do that much. And I'm pretty sure the cubes that like circle around him though will actually damage enemies if they're close enough. Alright. Last one. Okay, Nemesis. And a lot of people pulled for Nemesis. Now, let me say this first. She's the only character right now, and I've said this multiple times in multiple videos. She's the only character with a Volt Resonance right now, right here. This, Elemental Resonance. Keep in mind, there are more characters that are going to come out with these resonances. For me, I'm waiting for the Ice one. So, you don't have to roll just to get this resonance. And by the time I'm making this video, we only have like 10 days left on the banner. I know her banner just vanished and they brought it back. Not going to talk about it. We're just going to move on. So what I know of Venus / Nemesis, because I like Nemesis more, the name. So I think it's her skill. Is that her skill? One of her abilities puts down a turret. The turret is not what heals you. All right. The turret deals damage. And it pisses me off because the damage from the turret can actually charge you up and trigger this full charge, paralyze someone. Because I get so mad every time I get paralyzed when a turret hits me. It's her discharge. Her discharge is what puts the turret down. Yeah. And does damage and slows. Very strong. Her skill shoots missiles. The missiles will knock them back. That knocking down is actually very useful to where, like, if you're good enough at PvP, you'll kind of like see the enemy trying to prep like a wind-up move, like Coco. You can see Coco going through her auto attacks. You know her third one's going to be a hold attack. You can use this skill to cancel it. I do the same thing with Subasa's skill. And the cooldown is very short, but quite similar to Subasa's. Her dodge, I don't know anything about her dodge. I don't know anything about her dodge attack. I think her dodge attack is what makes the slow bubble though, right? It is. So I know what her healing actually comes from is dodging. Dodging is what makes that circle spawn and it heals. I do know the healing is bugged. If you swap off the weapon, it's actually supposed to stop healing. But from what I've seen is it keeps healing. From like what I've tested. I don't know if they fixed it by the time you see this video. But if you see this last line right here, if you switch off Nemesis, it's not supposed to keep healing you. Right here. So that's her dodge, you get the healing. And then if you dodge attack, is when you shoot those missiles and it spawns a circle. That circle's so annoying in PvP. With the wide AoE slow. If you want to be toxic and piss people off, that's probably one of the easiest ways to do it. I'm not going to say it's going to make you auto-win every battle, because I very rarely do I lose to that. Because there's one specific relic I bring that just cancels that out. But it is definitely very annoying. And last time I checked, she had a very good auto attack combo, but I don't play her, and I've never used her auto attack combo, so I'm not going to say anything about that. But that is every SSR. I'm not going to cover the SRs. In terms of building your team, I've made a few videos based on that. I can go through real quick and go through like I'll go through like content. Like I explain like where they're good. Oh, I think I forgot to tell you. So for the last few, Crow, single target DPS charge. So like bossing PvP. Zero, anything you're not timed in, because when you're timed, you don't really want to bring a healer. Healers are more for like world bosses, PvP. I can't see how good Zero is in PvP. I've never used them. So like things that aren't timed is where you want to bring Zero in. That way you just don't die and you can take as much time as you need. And then like Zero mines might like have more like advice on where else you can bring Zero and like how to use it in different places. Nemesis you can bring anywhere. She's a good third. To get Volt Resonance, you need a second Volt. She's very strong with Volt teams. There is no Volt Shatterer yet, minus this 4-star Spear. There is a Volt Shatterer in the collab, but we don't know if Global's getting collab. So, I hope y'all do get a Volt Shatterer, because y'all definitely need it. Like if we don't get the collab, I hope y'all at least get someone to replace the role. You know what I mean? And like the sooner the better, because y'all definitely need it. Otherwise, y'all are gonna get out. Y'all won't be like too relevant for a minute. Like y'all won't get new units for a while, unless if we don't get the collab. Yeah, that's all that. Honestly, I was thinking about going through, but I can't. Like, how to build your teams is case by case and account by account. Like, I can't make it, like, it's hard to make things free to play because this game's RNG. Like, everyone's accounts and, like, what team to build is individual. But one thing to keep in mind is you definitely want to gear it towards Bygone with AoE. I preach this all the time for your first one. Characters good in Bygone, they're good to build first. Shiro, King, Meryl, Samir, Huma, Nemesis. Oh, that's not her. Nemesis. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 6 options. That's like more than half of them are good and bygone. But yeah, I think I'll call the video there. I'm fucking running out of breath from talking and talking so fast because there's a lot of info. And I haven't fucking slept yet. But if you do like the video and want to see more, please like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube. I do stream more on Twitch, and more of my content's focused on Twitch. So I can just hit the start streaming button, and I can just play the game. And just, like, talk to anyone who shows up. Even though I'm mostly talking to myself, yeah. Please do check out my Twitch and give me a follow if you don't mind, and hope y'all have a great day.